Here's what you should know about your local housing market in this week's Market Update. This past week, looking at stats from Morristown, Chatham, Madison, Harding, Morris Plains, Mendham, Chester, Bernardsville, Basking Ridge, and Randolph. This past week in those towns, we saw 38 homes come on the market. We saw the most homes come on the market in Morristown and Morris Township, with 10 homes coming on the market. And then second and third place, we saw Basking Ridge and Randolph with 8 and 7 homes coming on the market respectively. Out of these, 22 of these were single family houses and 16 of them were condos or townhouses. The average list price of homes coming on the market this past week was only $931,000. That's a 24% decrease over the prior week. It's been quite some time since we've seen an average list price under $1 million. We saw the highest average list price this past week in Mendham at $2,451,000. And then surprisingly, other than that, all of the other towns had average list price below $1 million, ranging anywhere from $584,000 in Chatham up to the highest being $850,000 in Morris Plains, other than Mendham, which had $2,451,000. So that is interesting and surprising. I attribute it to probably August being a slower time for putting homes on the market. Typically at the higher end, those sellers try to be a little bit more strategic and want to be a little less inconvenienced during their vacation times. So I think that's probably a blip. We'll probably see average list price shoot way back up in a few more weeks. Total inventory. Current total homes actively on the market in these towns is 229 homes. That's a 2% decrease over the prior week. The most number of homes are on the market are in Randolph with 40 homes actively on the market. And then second place, we have Basking Ridge with 36 homes actively on the market. Sold homes, we saw 22 homes sell this past week in these towns. That's a staggering 46% decrease over the prior week. We saw the most homes sell in Basking Ridge with 7. Average list price of all these towns this past week was $1.2 million, and the average sale price was $1,262,000. So this past week, homes sold for an average of 5.5% above list price in these towns. Now, we're still seeing homes go primarily above list price and somewhat substantially so. We saw one town with homes selling below list price. That was Mendham, where homes sold for an average of 1.6% below the list price this past week. Otherwise, all of the other towns with home sales saw homes sell at or above list price. Randolph, homes sold at list price. Otherwise, homes sold for an average of anywhere from 2% in Chester to 11% above the list price in Madison. So we're still seeing a lot of these towns, homes selling substantially above the list price. Days on market, we saw these homes that sold were on the market for an average of 31 days. That's a 51% increase over the prior week. And then under contract, we saw 25 homes go under contract this past week. That's 31% less than we saw last week. Average list price of these homes was $950,000. That's a 15% decrease over the prior week. And then median days on market was only 12, which is a staggering 39% decrease over the prior week. So my take on everything, we are in the second half of August, typically a very quiet time around northern New Jersey, not only in the market, pretty much everywhere. Everybody's on vacation. So I'm expecting next few weeks to see very few homes come into the market. The homes that do come in the market, even though a lot of the buyers are out on vacation also, I do anticipate that a few homes that do come on the market, very likely they'll move quickly because there's just not a lot to choose from. I think we're going to see a much bigger influx after Labor Day hits. Anybody who have kids in camp, today is the last day of camp. So we've got that interesting period, 2-week period between camp ending and school starting. most families, listen, anybody that has kids knows that you're not getting anything productive done these next few weeks. So a lot of people choose to take that time to go on family vacations and then get prepared for school to start. So expect things to be light, but if you're in the market to buy, definitely don't hesitate to start looking, but do manage your expectations, as you should not expect to see too much come on the market for the next couple of weeks. And if you're planning to sell, let's start chatting. Let's start getting your home ready for market. I'm dealing with lots of sellers right now that are both getting ready for fall market just after Labor Day, and some that are even getting ready for spring market. Now is the time. Last few weeks, or I should say we probably have about a month or so ahead of us to really get photos taken of your flowers in bloom, your landscaping green. So if you're planning on selling either this fall or in the spring, we should begin your marketing now. Once those leaves fall, we really don't start seeing lush landscape until really about halfway through the spring market already. So let's chat about that. If you're taking your vacations, enjoy that. If not, let's start chatting about your home purchasing and selling plans. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll catch you again next week.